welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a late night Manchester United live news show. I normally do a late night video, but because my video already came out pretty late today, which was a big fat rant on Manchester United, I thought I'd do a live stream because there's a lot to discuss with you guys and I think it'll be quite an interactive show. Now, just before I was about to go live, a story came up on Rashford and it came out from Matteo Moretta. Now, Matteo Moretta is one of the better sources of information out there, and he was talking about Hansi Flick giving the green light and his approval for Barcelona to sign Rashford, and it could advance soon. We also know that Bayern are pushing ahead to sign Diaz, and Barcelona's alternative to Nico Williams is Diaz, who now looks like he's going to Bayern, which could very much open the door for Barcelona to get Rashford, who's willing to take the wage cut, who, yes, they couldn't register Nico Williams, but he would have been on higher wages and a more expensive deal. There's a feeling that there could be some advancements there with Marcus Rashford, and his exit could finally advance, but we were told a few weeks ago that Antony's exit was close, and he's still in Brazil waiting for his Seville move. We've been told for weeks that Sancho's exit's close, so, you always have to take this information with a pinch of salt, but I do think Diaz potentially going to Bayern, Nico Williams deal being off. I think as much as Barcelona don't want to pay up for Rashford, there could be some advances. Barcelona are dodgy, but as you guys said, Matteo Moretta is a good source of information. He is one of the better sources of information. If this was coming out from Footy Insider, I'd be like, guys, they got no credibility. Or if this was coming out with journalists with no credibility, I'd say no credibility. But it is coming out from a decent source of information. So we've got this boost coming in for Marcus Rashford. But the interesting story that's coming out, and it'll be interesting to see if we can get some further confirmation on this, because it's been out about 4 hours and nobody else has said anything. Nobody's denied it, but nobody's said anything. But this has come out from a Spanish source of information, I believe. So they might have some connections to Garnacho. But reports are coming out that Garnacho has been given permission to rejoin his Manchester United teammate in pre-season training at Carrington. So this is the interesting thing. Now, I don't know what your guys think, your guys' thoughts are, because I was reading the comments to this, and a lot of people were saying that, Garnacho should just apologise and stay, that we need Garnacho, which was weird, because on my YouTube, I feel like there's quite a negative perception of Garnacho, but I was reading the comments to this on X, and there was a lot of people wanted Garnacho back, which kind of surprised me. Look, me, I actually like Garnacho. I've defended Garnacho. I think Garnacho's better than a lot of people who watch me on YouTube think Garnacho is. But if he's fallen out of Amorim, you just have to back the manager. He's acted like a bit of a twat, Garnacho, and you have to back the manager there if he's fallen out with Amorim. I'm not fully convinced on Ruben Amorim. Like, I back Amorim. I want him to have a good summer. I think we aren't doing enough for Amorim, but I'm not fully convinced on Amorim. I don't like playing back fives. I don't like that everything has to change to make it work under Amorim, because if it doesn't work, we're going to be even further set back. I don't like how he's fallen out of Rashford and Garnacho. I don't like how he can't find a better role for Maino. I feel like Amorim requires so much to work, and it's such a risk. And I'm not fully convinced by Amorim. I think he tactically was so wrong in the Europa League final. We wouldn't even go to a back four until the last 5 minutes, and we never looked like we were going to score. I feel like the Europa League final could have gone on for another half an hour. I'm not fully convinced by Ruben Amorim. If I'm going to be totally honest, I'm Amorim in. I'm not going to be Amorim out. I'm not going to turn on the manager. The players are the biggest problem, and I'm upset that Amorim has not been given the backing and the environment to succeed, because I do think if Amorim was at Manchester City, he'd probably win leagues with Manchester City. But winning leagues with Manchester City and winning leagues with Manchester United are two very different things. But you have to back the manager over the players. I like Garnacho. I think he's better than people on this app think he is. I think he's got a bit of an ego, he's got a bit of an attitude issue, but I actually think he's a very good talent. I think we've underrated him, but it's a fan base frustrating. I don't think anyone frustrates me more than Garnacho. Oh, wow. Noni Madueke to Arsenal. Here we go. We'll get into that in a second. But if Amorim wants Garnacho back, you have to sell Garnacho. That's my mindset. If Amorim wants Garnacho back, you have to sell Garnacho. Sorry, if Amorim doesn't want Garnacho... I'm a bit distracted by the Noni Madueke. Here we go. If Amorim does not want Garnacho back, then don't bring Garnacho back. Do you know what I mean? That's my mindset. You've got to back the manager over the player. I believe Garnacho's a good player. I believe if we sack Amorim and we go back to a manager that plays a 4-3-3 with direct touchline wingers, we're going to regret selling Garnacho big time, particularly if we let Garnacho go on the cheap. But look, we can't get mugged off with Garnacho in the market, but you have to back Amorim. You have to support Amorim. That's my mindset on it. That's my mindset. Rashford is still a good player, but looks like Amorim has decided he doesn't want him. Garnacho's too a good player, won't lose him cheaply. Yeah, I think Rashford and Garnacho are some of our better players. I know everybody wants them gone, but I think they're better than all the players in our squad. Not that that's hard, but they have to go. They've fallen out with the manager. There's attitude issues there. They're not in the project. They have to go. And Garnacho, there's reports coming out, and again, waiting further confirmation, that he's been given permission to rejoin his United teammates in training. I'm going to be honest, this doesn't bother me, okay? It only bothers me if Man United, if Amorim didn't want this to happen, and Man United were saying to Amorim, no, you've got to make up with him. We can't sell him. He's got to be in the plans next year. That would bother me. If Man United said to Amorim, we've given up on trying to sell Garnacho. He's got to be in your plans. You've got to make it work. You've got to make up with a player that's undermined you. That would bug me. But if Garnacho's coming back to training and United are thinking, well, in this market, if Jamie Gittins is 55 million, if Madueke is 50 million plus, if Alanga is 55 million, Man United are thinking, well, we don't want to get mugged off for Garnacho. If Garnacho comes back to training, if we make it look like Garnacho and Amorim have made up, and even Garnacho plays some games in pre-season, and it looks like Garnacho could potentially be part of the plans next season, if we make it look like that, I'm not saying they will, I'm saying if they make it look like that. So Garnacho won't be part of the plans next season, he's full of Amorim, but they try and make it look like that, it could stop us getting mugged off with Garnacho. I'm happy for Garnacho to come back to training. If Ineos and Amorim has said, you know what, bring him back to training, this will help us sell him, it's about a negotiation tactic, bring him back, it strengthens our negotiation position, I think that's quite smart, because I think we're struggling to sell, and by not bringing back players to training and making it clear that we want them gone and they're not welcome back, it makes it easier for clubs to mug us off. What I don't want would be United saying to Amorim, you've got to make up with Garnacho now. That's what I wouldn't want, if you know what I mean. Is the connection okay? We've literally got a here we go while live. I wanted an early night. I'm going to have to make an Arsenal video. Later. Great. I say I wanted an early night. I'm going live at 10:30. I wanted to be in bed by 11:30, but that's not that early. But we'll talk about Noni Madueke, because I'm interested to see what the price is for Noni Madueke. Does that mean Rodrigo to Arsenal as well? I think Rodrigo's going to end up at Liverpool. Noni Madueke to Arsenal, here we go. So we're talking over 50 million. So we're probably looking about 55 million for Madueke to Arsenal. That happened fast. I'm surprised this is done before Gyökeres. That happened very fast. So over 50 million. And this is, again, taking that back to Mbumo. If Noni Madueke and Brentford see Noni Madueke is going for over 50 million, you'll see why they want 70 million from Mbumo. So it puts a bit more pressure on us to get Mbumo done. I think Rodrigo's the better player than Madueke. I don't know if he suits them more. I'm going to be honest, because Arteta likes touchline wingers. Rodrigo's someone that likes to come more central, whereas Madueke is more of a touchline winger. However, Madueke is so much better on the right. Saka plays on the right. I think Rodrigo is better on the left than Madueke, and I think Rodrigo's the better player than Madueke. But I do think that Madueke can hold the width better, and he suits the system better. But I'm going to say this now. When I look at Madueke, I think he's a good signing for a Villa. I think he's a good signing for a Newcastle if you want to get in the top four. But I don't think he's a signing that takes you to from top four to Champions League. Do you know what I mean? That's what I don't think. Yeah. Rodrigo's definitely more technically gifted. Rodrigo's definitely the better player. But yeah, interesting news here. Do you know what annoys me? Is Chelsea's ability to sell. Chelsea's ability to sell always winds me up. 50 million for Madueke. If someone had said that Chelsea would have sold Madueke for 50 million 2 months ago, we would have gone, no, they won't. That wouldn't happen. And now they've done it. It's Chelsea's ability to sell. It winds me up. We're talking about them getting maybe 30 million for Disassi. We look at Chelsea and we look at their deadwood. Let me look at Chelsea's squad. God, there's going to be a million players coming up here. But let me look at the Chelsea squad. Okay. So they've got a bit of deadwood, yeah? There is already talk of clubs being interested in, of course, Disassi for 25-30 million. There was a rumour of Josh Achampong, who's only played about 3 games, going for 50 million, and Newcastle having interest. They've got Kieran Drewsby Hall that they might be able to make good money on, despite him barely playing in the one season he was there. Nicholas Jackson, there's talk of, I think, AC Milan and for Nicholas Jackson. They'll probably sell Jackson before we can sell Højlund, although Jackson's been a lot better than Højlund. They still got interested in Cuckoo despite him being crap and injury prone for 2 years. You just look at Chelsea and their ability to sell compared to us, and it is frustrating. It is frustrating as well. Alice, I'm really fed up. I'm assuming that means fed up with Manchester United's slow transfer activity. Digital sports update. I think we're all fed up. I think you are feeling the same as all of us. I don't think. I mean, there might be. Let me know down below. I just don't think there's a Man United fan that can sit here right now and go, "No, I'm chill. I'm relaxed. I'm happy." Maybe a few people are like, "No, I'm confident the business will get done. It will take time." But I feel like 99% of Man United fans must be fed up right now. Yeah. Not a Madueke for 50 million. Garnacho is better than Madueke. The best thing about this is could Garnacho's exit heat up? Now that they got 50 million for Madueke, not pure profit, could the Garnacho exit heat up? Could Garnacho's Man United exit all of a sudden heat up? Could this give Chelsea the funds to push for Garnacho? That's the thing I'm interested about. So yeah, we'll have a look at that. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Chelsea sell when players are still good, not when they're troublemakers. Yes, to an extent. Madueke is alright at Chelsea. Like he's not bad. He's not a troublemaker, but he's a player that Chelsea were more than happy to sell for a reason. Chelsea sell players when they're a little bit mid. They're not rubbish. They're not on bad terms, but they're not going to sell Cole Palmer. They're not going to sell Moises Caicedo. They're not going to sell Cucurella. They're not going to sell their standout players. They're going to sell the players that still have a bit of value in them, but they could replace and improve upon. Yeah, I mean, I think Noni Madueke for 35 million would be really good business, but I think 50 million, could Arsenal have found better value in the market? My question is, Arsenal really needed a left winger. They really needed a top level left winger to push Martinelli out the team. And I think Madueke, despite being better on the right, could do that. But it's not, when you look at Liverpool and you look at City and their attacking talent, it's not a name that says to me, he's going to get Liverpool on par with City. So he's going to get Arsenal on par with City and Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? I mean, someone said they're perfectly relaxed. I mean, happy you. I'd love to be perfectly relaxed, but I am worried. Alice, all of our rival teams are killing it in the transfer action. We are falling further behind. Relegation could await us. So, yeah. So, Man City have signed 4 players. Reinders, Cherki, Aït-Nouri and Naipan. Liverpool have signed 3 players, but one of them was Florian Wirtz on top of Kirkes and Frimpong. And they're working on Gay. They also want a striker. Darwin Núñez could go. Diaz could go. They could get Rodrigo. You've also got Arsenal that have now signed Madueke, that have signed Norgard, that have signed Subamende. Gyökeres is set to come in, and they're also looking at Eze. On top of Madueke, they want Eze and they want Gyökeres. So you've now got Arsenal making some moves. Tottenham have signed Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White in the space of 24 hours. It was taking the absolute nick. So, and then Chelsea have already signed João Pedro, they've already signed Gittins, they've already signed Delap. So Chelsea have made 3 first-team signings. Tottenham have made 2 first-team signings. Arsenal have made about nearly 5 signings. They're working on a lot. City have made 4 signings. Liverpool have made 3 elite-level signings. And Man United, the team that needed the most additions and needed the most signings, have made 1. And that signing we made was in May. We didn't do anything in June. We went through the whole June of, we're now halfway through July. You know what? We still haven't made that Mbumo bid. And now teams are in for Vissa. And if Vissa goes, Mbumo's going to be harder to get. So why don't we hurry up and make that effing Mbumo bid? Do you know what I mean? Let's continue on. Mount was 60-50s a steal. Mount, when he left Chelsea, was like most Chelsea fans' fan favourite, because that's before Palmer came in. Mount, with his injury record, looks like a steal now for 60 million for Chelsea. And with Mount with 1 year left on his deal, Chelsea getting 60 million out of us for Mount and 65 million out of Arsenal for Havertz is crazy. But Mount had done a lot more at Chelsea than Madueke. But I know the point you're making. Garnacho and Rashford allowed back so that the Glazers sell in August and pretend difference is resolved. I mean, there's nothing about Rashford being allowed back. But I think if you do let the players back, we can say, oh, we're happy with the players, make up that we're happy with them. So then maybe teams won't try and mug us off in the window, because we've made it very clear we want these 4 players gone, they're not welcome back to training. And that's not helped us sell them. If we acted like these players were better than they were, they had more importance to us than they actually had, maybe we'd be in a better position to sell them rather than make it known so much that we want this player gone and that player gone. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think. Liverpool signed Marmadashvili, yeah. I forgot about him. He's coming as well. You got Allison and you got another sick keeper. Spurs getting Gibbs White for 60 million as well. That's quite good value in the market. What have we done? We have we signed a 15-year-old centre back and an 18-year-old striker. We've also signed an 18-year-old left wing back, guys. We're winning the effing league. Eh? Yeah, and Mbeumo and Cunha would refresh the front player. The thing is, Mbeumo and Cunha are two unbelievable signings, and they're brilliant signings. And when we get Mbeumo, I'm going to be happy and I'm going to be celebrating. But the fact that Man United have been working on this Mbeumo deal for so long, the fact that it's taken Manchester United so long to get this Mbeumo deal done and over the line is infuriating in the sense of, like, it takes the excitement out of it a little bit. Like, I'm happy when we do it, but it's like, oh, finally. I don't feel as convinced in a weird way. If we can get Mbeumo over the line, then we'll have secured two of the best attackers in the league when people said we wouldn't be able to get any decent players, which is true. It's absolutely true. But we just need to get Mbeumo over the line as well. The reason I want to put a bid in for Garnacho is because they know our position. Then when we are desperate, they're going to swoop in with loan offers or a low price. I think you're 100% correct, Noel. I think people are waiting until the end of the window for Garnacho because they know we're desperate to sell. The thing is, I'm going to say this now. If Chelsea made a 55 million bid for Garnacho tomorrow, I think 2 or 3 other clubs could start making offers for Garnacho. I think when one club comes in and makes an offer for Garnacho, I think 3 or 4 clubs could come in and make an offer for Garnacho. I think there's 3 or 4 clubs circling Garnacho, but they're not going to make an offer until, like, someone else does. They keep waiting because they know his value will go down with United's desperation. But I feel like nobody's going to act until that first person acts, if that makes sense in regards to getting Garnacho. And I think when one person acts and one person makes a bid, we could drive a lot more interest in Garnacho and a lot more could happen. But I feel like they're waiting for someone to act. I feel like that's the situation because they're thinking, oh, we could run this price down. Oh, United are going to get desperate. Oh, this price could be quite low, particularly in the market. Yeah. Alvaro to Real Madrid was a here we go, by the way. Yes, so Alvaro, it's crazy to think we sold Alvaro for about 5 million quid when Malacia and Luke Shaw were injured and we had to play Amrabat at left back and we didn't give him a single chance after that brilliant loan spell at Preston. Still amazes me to this day, one of the worst things Ten Hag did on top of playing Forson over Ahmad. But Alvaro going to Madrid, I think we've made 8 million from that. So we've made 8 million from Alvaro to Madrid. We've made 5 million on Sancho going, 5 million on Langa going, so that's 18 million, and we should make 2 million on Maxi Odile, Liga Warsaw release clause as well, our sell-on clause on that. So we actually have made 20 million in pure. We've actually made 20 million. Not through selling any of our players, but through that. So that's the one positive there. Thank you very much for the super chat. Is it possible for a club like United with many trophies to end up like Leeds, a team with great past success, but now we're stuck in mid-table mediocrity? Yes, it is. But because of PSR and how much money we make, despite being crap, because we're such a big club, even if we're crap, we'll always be able to outspend the other clubs around us, even if we're crap, because of PSR, because of how much money we generate. So it depends how badly we spend that money. If that's the best way to describe it. Alvaro, here we go. Yeah, which is always good. Counting the cents. Honestly, literally, we're celebrating over making a couple million quid. We are that far down. We are that broke. We are celebrating making a couple million quid for Langa. Not Langa and Alvaro. We're celebrating a couple million quid. Like, that's what it's like right now. We might not get the 20 million up front, but even if we get the 6 or 7 million up front this year, okay, well, that can pay the Mbeumo difference, get over the effing line. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Madueke to Arsenal is a here we go, which that surprises me. They actually had a petition to not sign Madueke. This is my thoughts, because I felt a bit like this when we signed Mason Mount. I liked Mason Mount. I thought Mason Mount was a good player, but I didn't want Man United to spend 60 million on Mason Mount because I always felt that we should have gone for Moises Caicedo or a deeper playing midfielder. I said that 2 years ago. But when we signed Mason Mount, I was very much like, I'm going to get behind this, I'm going to support it. It's not who I would have signed, but he's a good player and he's my player now, I'm going to support it. And I feel like that's what Arsenal have got to do with Madueke. I think that Madueke is a decent player, But it's one of those where you do think, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like we spoke more about Arsenal than Man United this live stream. Do you know what? The Man United news is so dead at the moment that we're literally talking about here we goes for kids, here we goes for young players, because we ain't doing anything. We're celebrating the here we go for a 15-year-old that's not going to play for us for a couple of years because we're just doing nothing. And we'll talk about Arsenal. Like, it's just so. I mean, like, there is news, and we obviously cover the news. Obviously, there's the Rashford news, and it's come out from Matteo Moretta, but it's Man United close to this, Man United close to that. Cool. Stop telling us that we're close, and actually tell us when we've done something. Because it feels like, cool, I'm happy we're closed, and I'm happy to report there's a boost in Rashford, but like, it'd be nice to do something. So obviously, Matteo Moretta is a good source of information. He said Hansi Flick has given his approval for Barca to sign Rashford. Negotiations may advance in the coming weeks. So that's obviously a story coming out now in regards to Rashford. Obviously covered that at the beginning. This is a good source of information. It's, oh wow. Bear with. Oh no, I was just checking something. This is a good source of information that has said that Hansi Flick has pretty much given the green light for Marcus Rashford and that this could advance. I mean, it could advance. I mean, the thing I don't like about this is it says coming weeks. Coming days, thank you. Coming weeks, I don't want to wait more weeks. But look, Diaz is set to go to Bayern. Nico Williams is off. Barcelona clearly like Rashford. As much as Rashford's begging for Barcelona and waiting for Barcelona, I don't think Rashford would be begging and waiting this much for Barcelona if Barcelona didn't want to sign him. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Rashford would be begging it this much if Barcelona didn't want to sign him. So that's my thought process on Rashford. Clearly, Barca have some interest. I think they're prioritising other wingers ahead of him, and then their plan was to try and get him on loan at the end of the window because Man United are desperate and Rashford would just do anything for Barcelona. That's what my mindset is on the Rashford-Barcelona situation. But I feel Barcelona have some kind of interest for Rashford to turn down other clubs like Villa before Barcelona. They have some kind of interest. Do you think Rashford will go to Villa? No. Villa denied that he's going to come. Hopefully Barcelona pay the 40 million. I reckon they'll pay 33. I don't know why. I just feel like that's the most Man United thing ever. Rashford wants out. He wants to do well. He wants to do well for the World Cup. I think Rashford would smash it at Barcelona. I really do. You look at how Antony did in La Liga. You can't tell me that Rashford wouldn't destroy it in La Liga. I'm sorry, I feel like Rashford would do really well in La Liga. I can't lie. And I think he'd be a good signing for Barcelona. But yeah, Matteo Moretta is a good source of information as well. So there's a boost there as well. Do you think Arsenal will get Rodrigo now they've got Madueke? No, I don't think they will. I think they'll get Eze and Madueke. I don't think they got the cash for Rodrigo. I'd be very surprised. They love to try and sign Chelsea players. But like Havertz, Madueke, Jorginho, David Luiz. Arsenal love to sign. It's so weird how we never sign City Liverpool players, but Arsenal always signing Chelsea players. Jorginho, Douglas Luiz. I think was Willian. Did Willian go to Arsenal? Willian. Havertz. What is it about Arsenal and Chelsea? They love doing business with each other. Chelsea seem to get the better end of the bargain. Like, was it Giroud that went to Chelsea and just won trophies? But yeah. Bayern offered 45.5 million for Diaz. That's laughable. Yeah, considering Elanga's going for 55 million and Gittins is 55 million. Yeah, I think with his contract and age, I think Liverpool wants 70 million for Diaz. I think they might accept 65 million, which is like the Mbumo price. But when you look at the market, 45 million is laughable for Diaz. It's laughable for Diaz. They really do. They ain't rivals. They dick ride each other so much. There's no rivalry there. Who do you think will be our first sale? I don't know. I always felt confident Antony was going to go, and I think with Betis returning for training now, and Antony told not to return, surely there should be a breakthrough with Antony. But I just don't know. I think Madueke going says to me Chelsea and Garnacho is going to heat up. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks the exits could really heat up next week. But then every time I think something's going to heat up, nothing happens. So I don't want to say that because nothing probably happened. Do you know what I mean? What the hell? No, sorry, I was just reading a weird chat. I wouldn't be too mad over a loan offer for Rodrigo, but it would mean we failed on Mbumo, which I'd be mad about. If we fail on Mbumo and get Rodrigo, I'm not going to be too mad about it. But the chances of Manchester United getting Rodrigo on loan is probably very similar to our chances of getting Alexander Isak, which is about 0.1%. I don't think he'd want to come to Manchester United. I don't think Real Madrid would do a loan. You know, I think we'd all be happy with Rodrigo on loan, but I don't think it's a realistic thing to expect or predict. The news on Anthony is Betis want to get the deal done. Anthony wants to get the deal done. Man United want to get the deal done, but it's not moved for 2 weeks. So that is literally the news on Anthony there. So I'm very slow in that retrospective as well. I'm just going through all the chats. There's a couple of like half stories coming out today. But again, I feel like the news is so dead at the moment. Patrick Dorg is back in training. A lot of the players are back in training, which is good to see. JJ Gabriel, United have got big plans for him. Bentito Mantetto set to go on pre-season tour. Delot is number 2. That was Man United's breaking news today, that they've given Delot the number 2 shirt. I mean, how exciting. Sonny Alajofree, if that's how you say his name, has joined Notts County on loan. He's an academy player. Bruno's back, Delot's back, Hoyland's back, Agate's back today, Dorgu's back. Man United want to hurry up with Mbumo. The Cameroon coach came out and said Mbumo's frustrated with how long Man United taking. I mean, that's what we're getting told in terms of news and everything. Yeah. Hard to predict what to expect from United, but most fans will want to see them improve. Yeah, well, I mean, have to improve. We need strong United to make the league more good. I agree, Steve. Thank you very much. I feel like Dorgu's going to be overused because we aren't going to sign an experienced wing-back. I agree. I think Mazraoui's going to become permanent centre-back because we've lost Lindelof and Evans, so we have 2 less centre-backs down, and our other centre-backs are injury-prone. Yeah. Do you think Gyökeres could collapse? No, Gyökeres will go to Arsenal. I'm confident of that. I think Arsenal are going to get Gyökeres and Eze. Maybe they get someone else if they sell. I think they'll get Gyökeres and Eze. I have to say, Tottenham signed Kudus, and they've done one of the best marketing things because they've got him shaking Van de Ven's hand. It's quite funny to see because obviously Van de Ven and the Kudus red card from last season. I have to say, the Tottenham social media team has smashed that task there. Listen, people, I only wanted to do a short live stream, just talking about everything going on, but I just big up to everyone tuning in. I will be back tomorrow. Diego Leon, maybe. I think we'll see him on pre-season, but it's a bit like Sekou Kone. He doesn't know the language, new country. It's with Diego Leon, it's about settling him in. It's like Sekou Kone, it's like Chido. You know, Diego Leon, I like the talk he's giving, how he wants to be key and he wants to do this and he wants to do that. I like how Diego Leon is talking. But yeah, with Diego Leon, we can't put too much pressure on him. I like that he was saying, "Oh, I'm ready to come in. I'm ready to make an impact, and give me a few games in pre-season, and I'll make a point." I like that, and I think he's physically quite good for his age. But yeah, we just got to be careful. Anyway, people, go over and raid Never a Fan. I'm going to redirect you to their live stream now. Thank you everyone for watching. I will be back in the morning or the lunchtime. See you next time. Bye.